And ladies and gentlemen, fucking welcome to the Two Schmoes Show. I'm the Mr. Ryan, and I can fucking swear again.
I'm Cairo, and I've always been swearing.
Yeah, some of us don't participate in Lent around here.
I actually have an article for today that's about swearing.
Ooh, go on.
We'll get to it later.
Darn.
It was mostly a Twitter thing, but I thought it was funny.
Mm. Uh, I've got really nothing. It's been such a. It's been Easter week, ladies and gentlemen, and grocery store
Mhm.
working during Easter week sucks.
Yeah. For me, right now, it's coming up on a planned break at my work, so everything's kind
Kinda what?
of slowing down. So I
Oh.
had a bit more time than usual to pay attention to the news this weekend. So I've got a good pile of stories set up.
Like what?
Like LG is no longer making smartphones.
What? What are they going
Yeah,
to do?
everything else.
Everything else? So, like, smartphone
Mm-hmm.
accessories?
Well, no, because LG makes TV, small appliances,
Oh, yeah, I forgot about
like
that.
literally everything else.
Yeah, I wonder what made them decide to get out of the phone market.
It's mostly because they've kind of sucked at it in terms of
Really?
sales. They have this thing that they've always been doing, and I don't know. It's like I don't know. You know that why can't you be normal meme?
Yeah,
That is the world to LG about their smartphones. Why
really?
can't you just be normal? Yeah.
Huh.
There's a good BBC article I've got pulled up here that sort of goes through it, but there is so many things that LG has done with their smartphone business that just doesn't make sense. So in like the BlackBerry days, they were a lot more popular
Well,
because there was
okay.
less competition and there's was a lot lower bar.
Yeah, Blackberries, that takes me
Mm-hmm.
back.
Yep. The peak of their business was sort of in 2013,
Yeah.
and that's when they started to get kind of weird with the features they had on their phone.
Do tell.
So the big gimmick with the LG G2 was that it used a laser in order to help focus the camera by detecting depth, which
That's
is the kind of thing. I mean, it was like super ahead of its time though, because that's like the entire basis for Apple's Face ID stuff. It just uses a ton of small lasers to make a 3D depth map.
yes.
But for a 2013 smartphone that's mostly made of plastic, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I do see that. That seems very impractical during the time that came out.
Mm-hmm. Not to be outdone, they kept one upping themselves. Um, in 2013, I had completely forgotten about this. They made the G Flex, which is a curved. It's like a flexible smartphone almost. Was the gimmick of it.
Oh my gosh, I think I remember this.
Yeah. So the idea was that it would be like it was one of the first smartphones that had like flexible glass basically as a screen.
Yes.
But again, it's like kind of pointless.
Yes, I do remember this. Ah,
Then they had the G5, which was the modular smartphone, where you could put different modular attachments that could be anything from a larger extended battery to something, in theory, like a full on camera grip for high resolution, stable recording.
interesting.
Unfortunately, they never really made the modules to go with it to support it later on. So it just kind of flopped.
So you're saying if companies don't support their own devices, they tend to just die out?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just kept doing this. They just never stopped. So after that, these are the ones that I remember because they're the most recent. But they in 2019 they released the LG V50, which was a phone that had two screens attached by a hinge, with the intent being, that you could multitask more efficiently. And, this is at the start of the whole uh, folding phone craze with Samsung and all of the different phone manufacturers that made their various folding screens. And LG's response was just two screens sort of sandwiched together.
Yeah, I remember
It's not
that.
a terrible idea. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's again the same thing with these modular concepts that just didn't really go anywhere, and especially at this point because now ASUS had released their line of gaming phones that took this idea but cranked it all the way to 11 and with a price tag to match to make these like a rival for something like the Switch, where you're buying this phone to play games on it specifically. You
Yes.
understand that, and it has the features to back it up, like the best processor you can get, actual active cooling to make sure that it doesn't overheat, attachments that actually let you use it like a Switch, Joy-Con knockoffs basically, a second full screen with a controller attached to it. Things like that actually make sense
Mm-hmm.
for a gaming, dual screen smartphone, as well as being able to just generally multitask with extra screens. But it's kind of the same thing over and over again with LG, where they have these good ideas that they just kind of half-ass. And that culminated last year with the LG Wing.
The what?
The LG Wing. I don't.
Wing.
It is the first swiveling smartphone.
Swiveling?
I will send you a picture of this because
Please.
I don't think there's a better way to describe it. The idea is that it normally is just a smartphone,
Yes.
but then you can swivel a top screen 90 degrees and up to reveal a second screen underneath that is perpendicular to the first now.
That sounds
Presumably
so
for
weird.
multitasking. But then when you get to these extremes of a unique design, you get to have serious issues with app support.
Yeah.
And that's something that a lot of people don't really think about. There's a really good video that Linus Tech Tips did talking about the whichever one it is that Samsung has for their folding phone, whatever the hell it's called, the Galaxy Fold thing. And even something like that, a giant like Samsung with these like $4,000 devices, there were still very, very basic apps that didn't have full compatibility that would run with black bars, if at all.
Yeah.
Things like Instagram, YouTube, like huge apps with massive amounts of money behind them, that it was not worth it for them to develop versions for these devices because they're so niche.
Yeah.
So few people use them. And then they went and took it to this kind of an extreme.
No, you know what this reminds me a lot of in recent history?
What's that?
The Wii U.
Oh yeah, completely. Like good ideas,
Yeah.
but
If there's
it's
not
not what
really,
people want.
yeah, what a client base wants and what developers want to develop for are kind of really important in technology nowadays.
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially when having a phone that can when you can go and buy a $300 phone that for 100% of people it will meet their bare minimum for what they need a phone to do, there isn't a point in then trying to make these exotic things that run like a $300 phone but have a $1,200 price tag because of the engineering and gimmicks that go behind them.
It's the I'm not like the other girls of phones.
Yeah. Only you're making your user experience actively worse to do it.
I mean, yeah.
So yes, goodbye LG from the smartphone business. You will probably be remembered, but you will not be missed.
Ouch. Yeah. I want to meet
What are
someone
the
who.
other?
What?
Yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
I want to meet someone who has one of those fancy phones, and I
Oh
want to put
yeah.
him on a watch list.
Well, see, I before I bought the iPhone that I have now, my
Hmm.
Samsung at the time was dying, and I seriously was looking into the Asus phones because I did do quite a bit of mobile gaming at the time,
Yes.
and they do kind of look cool, like in a gamery sort of way. But they don't run on Verizon's networks,
Oh,
so
yeah.
I couldn't buy one. Even I did want to. I had the money in hand. I was like, yes, I will give you my money for these, but they didn't make a version of it that worked in my region.
Capitalism.
Yeah, which is crazy to think about. Like, it's an American company. I'm pretty sure Asus is American. Let me check that actually. I just kind of assumed that they are. Oh, they're Taiwanese. Okay, that makes
Taiwanese?
sense.
Yeah.
But the U.S. is one of the largest markets for stuff like that, at least in the West.
Yeah.
So it was surprising to see that they didn't have different versions for different networks.
We're the US is just kind of like the market,
Oh yeah, no, it's one of the we have a lot of expendable income here.
unfortunately. Then you see people buying a lot of dumb stuff.
Yep, yep. And to do that, they often use Amazon, who
Hey.
has issued an apology for wrongly denying drivers urinated in bottles.
Wow.
So they actually admitted that they were wrong in this.
Good for them? Question mark.
Yeah,
Like
right.
it's still a problem.
They have so much wrong with themselves.
Oh yes.
This is just like terrible.
Yeah, it's awful.
I mean, they're probably this is the kind of thing that will make people sort of forget about the other stuff because oh, Amazon issued an apology, problem solved. Everyone put down the pitchforks, but it
Sorry.
won't. Yeah, right.
Oh, we're just a bad wheel company. We really mean no harm. Poor Amazon.
Yep.
Why do we little guys have to gang up on the big guy, Kyril? I mean, seriously, think about it.
How dare someone punch up?
Yeah, man, it's just not fun. When you think about it, Goliath was a victim. Why did David have to cancel Goliath? Cancel culture.
Cancel. I actually saw an interesting perspective on that about how it was literally the equivalent for the time period of David bringing a gun to a knife fight,
Yeah.
which is kind of hilarious.
Yeah.
So, in other news, we have like this is I'm just gonna throw the tech stuff here.
Okay.
Um, the Supreme Court issued a ruling in a case between Google and Oracle. So Oracle is the parent company that is the copyright owner of Java, the computer platform and language,
Yes.
programming language. Um, Google has been using certain aspects of the Java programming language in the Android operating system for smartphones. And this has been a long court case between the two of them where Oracle has been claiming that Google infringed their copyright by using these portions of the Java language.
Okay.
Um, Prior rulings had been in favor of Oracle, but it ended up being appealed to the the United States Supreme Court of Appeals, I believe. So this is yes, um, and they ended up ruling 6-2 in favor of Google, which is much less of a big deal for Google. I mean, it prevents them from having to pay damages and stuff from copyright infringement. But the sort of core of this issue was that there are these very commonly used pieces, used and reused pieces of code that are sort of like in the common language of coding. And if this had gone in favor of Oracle, it would mean that large amounts of those code bases would be infringing on Oracle's copyright.
Mm-hmm.
It harkens back to the issues that came up in the start of recording, like VHS type recording,
Yes.
where there were similar court cases as to, is making a recording for personal use illegal? And those court cases ended up finding that it was not.
Hmm.
Hits in sort of a similar vein in that the common use of this language, this programming language, as I understand it, um, is now confirmed to be allowed.
Okay.
So it's a hard thing to parse, but it is pretty important.
Yes. Obviously.
Mm-hmm. Yep, yep. It's really dense. I've been trying to find some good summaries of it, but this was like just this morning, I think, that they announced this decision. So hopefully, the lawyer types will be able to get around and put up some good summaries of this. But it's a 62-page decision that's already it's in lawyer speak about like high level technology things. So it is about as dense as it can get.
I hate it.
Yeah.
I mean, do when you get to a certain level of writing, it's pretty easy to disguise what you're saying in big words so normal people can't read
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Absolutely despise that practice.
As I understand it, though, this is a general good thing for the average person, as it means that the apps and devices that they use should not be impacted negatively as a result of this.
What kind of apps would have been impacted?
So the Android operating system, for one. If
Oh,
it turned out that Google had infringed on Oracle's copyright, the result of that would have likely have been either Google pays massive fines and back fees for the last 15 years of them infringing on Oracle's copyright, or they would have to remove the impacted sections of code from their devices, which would mean that large numbers of apps just might not function. A large portion of this had to do with APIs, the sort of I can't remember what it's called now. I can't remember what the abbreviation is. Let me see if I can pull this up. API, short for Application Programming Interface. It's the kind of thing that a lot of smaller apps are able to pull from other bigger apps, the sort of raw data, and then repackage it into a format that they can use. It's the thing that a lot of smaller like data tracking apps for video games particularly use. They'll pull the API data from the larger servers and then parse that into something that the end user can actually understand.
okay.
If this was impacted with that, there's a chance that those would just basically cease to work.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Google Maps is one of the big API pushers. Google has the Google Maps API that they own, and they allow other smaller groups, at least they used to, I'm not sure how it is anymore, but would allow them to do. So you could do lots of really fun, specific things with the Google Maps API integrated into your own apps.
You mean like Pokemon Go?
To an extent, yeah.
Yeah, I thought Pokemon Go was API'd.
There are large portions of it that are sort of skimmed from that.
Yeah.
In cases that are things that are that big, they would probably be easier for them to just pay any fines that they might need to.
Fair enough.
But it is that's the same idea though. Yeah. Okay. Rapper DMX has been hospitalized after a heart attack, potential overdose.
Yeah.
Yeah, heart attack brought on by a drug overdose. And there's a lot of conflicting information that I've seen. Apparently, it's been confirmed by his lawyer now that he was on life support. He has been taken off of life support and is breathing on his own, but there is little brain activity,
Oof.
which is very unfortunate.
Yeah,
Um,
that's kind of crazy.
you know, DMX's rapper who has publicly been battling substance abuse for years, says spent plenty of time in rehab, um, and there was some. It's pretty tragic how he ended up getting exposed to drugs.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so there's a story, and it's just his how he told it. But apparently, when he was 13 years old, he was going around, being for lack of a better word, a gangster, doing illegal things. Um, After a hit that he did with his one of his close friends, they were sort of celebrating after, and he gave part of his, I guess, earnings, whatever he made off of that, to the friend as a birthday gift. And the friend came back with what he believed was just marijuana rolled
Mhm.
up in a blunt, and it turned out that it had rock crack cocaine in it,
Ooh,
and he didn't know, and he smoked it, and that's what got him hooked on it.
that's really sad.
Yeah, it's awful. But he has, it seems at least, turned around to try to be a better person
Yeah.
in his adult life. Um, Absolutely an icon of hip hop and rap and that entire genre. Definitely a very sad thing to see.
Oh, yes. Thoughts and prayers go to DMX.
Okay, we'll do this one first. So
What's up?
AstraZeneca can't catch a break on their COVID stuff. And
What?
it seems like part of it's kind of their own fault.
Okay.
So I don't remember if it was last week or the week before, we talked about a case in Europe where AstraZeneca was producing COVID vaccines at a Scandinavian facility that had not yet been approved to make vaccines. And it had gone to the point where they had produced tens of millions of doses illegally, basically, and then tried to ship them out of the EU to an unknown destination. And it only got caught at an exporting location in Italy where they found these tens of millions of doses and seized them and traced them back to where they came from.
Oh, wow.
This week, there was a mix up at a plant that was producing COVID vaccines, and it doesn't seem like it's entirely the fault of AstraZeneca.
Okay.
It's more to do with people further down the chain of command not basically doing their jobs. Um, but the short of it is that some 15 million doses that were supposed to be made of the ingredients, the sort of the recipe, I guess, if you will, for like Johnson and Johnson's vaccine, ended up being made with the AstraZeneca recipe, basically. So they just made these wrong. And they made 15 million doses wrong that had to be basically thrown out because they couldn't verify what was actually in them and if it was even usable at that point.
Ouch.
And as a result of it, the Department of Health and Human Services has removed AstraZeneca's control over the facility and exclusively given it to Johnson and Johnson. Prior to this, it was sort of a shared agreement
Yeah.
where they were both sort of taking hand back and forth. AstraZeneca has gotten the boot on.
Um, I don't blame them for what they did,
Mm-hmm.
because that's kind of
Yep.
thing you can have zero mistakes on.
Yep.
So say I. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
I heard about the Johnson and Johnson one because a lot of people were like, "Yo, did you get the bad vaccines?" I'm like, they wouldn't ship them out if they were bad.
No, they're not bad. It's just different.
Yeah.
And I mean, it does seem to have more people have a more on average, a more adverse reaction to receiving it, but it's happening with all of them. It's just the Johnson and Johnson being a single dose. It sort of condenses the statistics that would normally be spread across two doses into one.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I literally have it flowing through my system at the moment, so
Can you feel the 5Gs?
ever since then, I haven't been able to say the word without hearing Lord Bezos in my head telling me that is not a real word.
Understandable.
The thing, the thing with the people who work for a place and they try to come together and stand against their employer for abusive things.
Yep, yep. I
Yes,
hate Disney World too.
Disney World is bad. Um, I've gotten really hungry for Microsoft products lately.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Tasty RAM chips. You can download more of it, right?
Oh yeah, download more RAM, dude. Just take your USB. Everybody, pro tip: take a USB, download all the RAM you can on it, and it's like making infinite memory.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just download a new patch every time you run out of RAM.
Disclaimer: it is probably a virus.
Yeah, never do that.
Never do that.
You cannot download RAM. But you know what you can download?
What's that?
The Amazon Shopping app on your phone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Shop from the comfort of your home with safety and have our Amazon people come out to you and deliver your products. Trust Amazon. Be one with Amazon. All hail Bezos.
In other news, we're gonna get to shit on Trump some, so I'm excited.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has been. So apparently, as a part of a U.S. Treasury, I believe those were sanctions. They were looking to impose sanctions against Petróleos de Venezuela, the Venezuelan state oil company.
Okay.
And as a part of that, they were sanctioning specific members of the Venezuelan government and of PDVSA.
Okay.
One of those being a person named Alessandro Bazzoni over accusations that he was tied to uh, certain things involving Venezuela's oil sector. As it turns out, this whole thing was a bit rushed because Trump was trying to push through as much things as he could before he left office. And on was January like 18th, I think it was. Let me see if I can find it. It was ridiculously close to the end of his term. It was something like January 18th. It was ridiculous. The U.S. Treasury put out a blacklist for one Alessandro Bazzoni. Only it was the wrong one, and it instead turned out to be an Italian restaurant owner that was caught up in this and has had all of his bank accounts and like ability to do his job stopped basically for the last 3 months until
Oh
they're able
my
to get it fixed out, until the Biden administration was able to get it fixed.
It's the Four Seasons all over again.
Yeah, it basically is.
Oh no.
So this is just kind of the dumb, laugh at the stupidity kind of news that we all love. Uh, and I chose to open with it because the next one we get to talk about is much worse.
Oh no.
So it turned out that one of the ways that the Trump, I don't even want to call it. What was it? It was the Win Red Trump Political Action Committee. One of the ways that they were making so much money, so many donations, is that as a part of the online forms that they had that you would fill out to make a donation, the box that you would check to make recurring donations was pre-checked.
No.
Yes.
No.
And it has turned out that the Trump administration, I don't know, call it the administration, the political action committee involved and related to Trump has had to refund $122 million, more than 10% of what it raised online in 2020.
How's that legal?
It is not. It's very gray. But people are filing legitimate claims of fraud with their banks because it basically is.
Yes. Holy crap, that is awful. That is legitimately exploiting old people who don't know how to read a computer screen. That is the worst thing I've ever
New York
heard.
Times has written up a full article about it, going through it.
Okay?
Yep. Um, this is one of the most disgusting things that I've seen, and it's very well written. New York Times hires good people, and I'm sure they very specifically picked this case because it is emotionally evocative.
Yes.
But basically, um, I believe this is a woman named Stacy Blatt was in hospice care in September, listening to Rush Limbaugh's dire warnings about how badly Donald Trump's campaign needed money. Or sorry, when he went online and chipped in everything he could, $500. He was battling cancer in hospice, living in Kansas City on less than $1,000 per month, but that single contribution, federal records show it was his first ever, quickly multiplied. Another 500 was drawn the next day, then 500 the next week, and every week through mid-October without his knowledge until his account had been depleted and frozen, causing his
No.
utility and rent payments to bounce.
Mm.
Afterwards, they found the $3,000 in withdrawals by the Trump campaign in less than 30 days. Called their banks and thought that they were the victims of fraud, because of course they did. That is what you would assume.
Yes. Oh my gosh. How is that? That shouldn't be legal.
I I don't know if it is or not. It is definitely the kind of thing that feels like it shouldn't be.
Yeah. That reoccurring payments, really. Well, how do they determine the period of reoccurring payments?
It seems like it was indefinite.
Indefinite? So they could just take it
Yep.
whenever they felt like it.
So it depends. I think some of these were um, the options to either make an additional $100 donation automatically on a certain date, or to automatically make a recurring donation for the amount that you made on that single donation.
Oh my
So, like in this
gosh.
case, the person donated $500, and the box to make that a recurring weekly donation was pre-checked. So they were giving another $500 each time.
That is beyond stupid.
I'll send you a picture of this, but this is what the boxes looked like that they were pre-checking. And it got to the point where they had two of these boxes pre-checked on the donation page. So it would set up a weekly recurring donation as well as an additional automatic $100 donation.
Okay, from a design standpoint, these are the worst things I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
This is okay. So for those of you at home, these boxes are in inconsistently all capped font. So the phrasing is this is the final month until election day. The final in that statement is all in caps, and we need every all caps patriot in cap with a capital letter on it stepping up if we're going to win 4 more years. That's all in caps for President Trump. That is really hard to read because the inconsistency of the damn font. He's revitalizing our economy, restoring law and order, all in caps, and returning us to American greatness, which both have capital letters on them. But he's not done yet. This is your chance. Stand with President Trump and maximize your impact now. Maximize and now, all in caps. That is really hard to read looking at it, and quite frankly, I don't like looking at it because it's got the ugliest yellow behind it, which makes the font blurry, and then there's a red borderline,
Yep.
which just makes it look even more like a heart attack.
And then on top of that, the actual relevant text that says make this a weekly recurring donation until certain date
Yeah,
is in thinner font than all of the rest of it, making it even harder to see and not stand out at all.
no. And oh my gosh, let's just talk about that for a second because that's very, very manipulative to
Yeah.
also make it. Okay, everything before then was in bold. Make this a weekly recurring donation until 11/3. Not bold. Regular
Not at all.
ass font.
Yep.
thin black lines against a yellow, pukish yellow background.
Yep.
Absolutely shitty. Same thing with the second box here. President Trump on October 9th marks 25 days out from Election Day, and we need your support. American patriots like you, all in caps, inspired me to keep fighting this past week, and I'm not done yet. I'm asking you to join Operation MAGA, all in caps, and help me secure victory, all in caps, in November. Join the movement now, all in caps. There should be some kind of exclamation point after that now. And then again, they have in underbolden words, donate an additional 100 automatically on October 9th, which is
Yep.
scummy as fuck.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Protect your grandparents, ladies and gentlemen.
So to be fully transparent,
Yes.
these sorts of the statistics involved with this, 10% of their income ended up being charged back as refunds. That is something that does typically happen. So refunds are shown as the percentage of money received by each operation to date versus blah 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 blah. So just for complete transparency, Biden's campaign, Win Blue, or sorry, Act Blue, did have refunds as well. But you can tell through the entirety of 2020, their refunds are steady at just a smidge over 2%.
Okay.
Which does make sense because people are, there's going to be people who either uh, overdraft their account by
Yep.
mistake, who, just generally do something wrong, who maybe make a donation and then go, oh, maybe that's too much, or maybe I don't want to do that at all, kind of thing, and will charge back.
Yes.
So the fact that there are any refunds is not really the point.
Yes.
The point is much more that the refunds for the Trump campaign increased literally tenfold after they started to add these pre-checks boxes onto their donation forms.
That's so awful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought he was rich and he didn't need this much money to, like, fight for himself.
Crazy, isn't it? You would have thought. You would have thought.
You would have thought. I don't know. It kind of breaks me a little. I'm not going to lie. Because I'm not sure what to think about that. Because, in, like, some respect, it is totally scammy and whatnot. And in another respect, this was a legit presidential campaign.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And where did this money go?
Either into the Trump campaign's efforts to, advertise or into their own pocket.
Wow. I really feel like I didn't see much advertisement.
Well, it's because most of their advertisement is online now, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's hyper targeted.
Fair enough. What I don't understand is when you hyper target like certain people for your political campaign, you're already targeting people who are more than likely going to vote for you. You should probably more or less work towards pursuing the middle ground, the people who are wishy washy like me, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
What you looking at there, bud?
So I'm reading a very interesting piece here. Apparently, the Supreme Court has been very busy today, and they've also issued something to do. I don't know. Is a motion for leave to file a petition for a writ of certiorari, which is denied. So I don't know legalese enough to know that, but this seems to be that the Supreme Court has taken they have taken up a case, Brown v. Davenport, that is related to social media and how social media companies are meant to be regulated, what rights they have as a company.
Can you show me the what you're talking about?
I
Because
will
I
link
can
you this
speak
tweet.
a little legalese.
It is incredibly legalese. Uh,
Took a law class in college. Oh, honey,
it's bad. It's real bad.
that looks
So
terrible.
according to Mark Joseph Stern, a writer for Slate, Clarence Thomas has suggested that social media companies may not have a First Amendment right to regulate speech on their platforms, analogizing them to common carriers and places of public accommodations.
If a part of the problem is private, concentrated control of over online content platforms available to the public, then part of the solution may be found in doctrines that limit the right of the private company to exclude. Okay, that's a statement.
Yeah.
Historically, at least two legal doctrines limit a company's right to exclude. First, our legal system and its British predecessor have long subjected certain businesses known as common carriers to special regulations, including general requirement to serve all comers. Is this really about, like, banning certain people on platforms?
Wait. Sorry, give me 1 second here. I'm trying to. This is incredibly dense,
This is dense.
and it sounds incredibly contrived.
It sounds like they're trying to put this up like as the U.S. Postal Service, or I don't know, not essentially treating these like companies as much as general like communication like groups.
Yes.
Like
So it seems like the idea in calling them places of public accommodation
yes.
would be like a town square almost. I mean, it seems
I kind of want to compare it to
absurd.
I don't know what to compare it to. Like maybe a library? Like where's the legal precedence in all this?
So this is from the statement. Even if digital platforms are not close enough to common carriers, legislatures might still be able to treat digital platforms like places of public accommodation. Although definitions between jurisdictions vary, a company ordinarily is a place of public accommodation if it provides lodging, food, entertainment, or other services to the public in general. Twitter and other digital platforms bear resemblance to that definition. This too may explain the Second Circuit's intuition. Courts are split, however, about whether federal accommodation laws apply to anything other than physical locations. So that is the idea that if you are running something, some company, some business that provides a publicly accessible service, you have to be able to provide accommodations to those services, I guess. But it seems like a massive stretch to translate that into stripping social media companies of their right to moderate their platforms. That would be completely, like, to me, that seems like the idea that because you run a restaurant and you have to keep it handicap accessible, you no longer can remove someone from your restaurant for any reason. That is like the argument that they're making here.
Yeah, no, this is really dumb.
Yes. And this is coming from the Supreme Court.
By giving these companies special privileges, governments place them in a category distinct from other companies and closer to some functions like the Postal Service that the state has traditionally undertaken. I don't see the logic in that. Because, like, at the end of the day, these are privately owned companies and not a system set up by the goddamn government. It'd be like the U.S. government saying they can now regulate Amazon shipping centers because they are like the Postal Service. Internet platforms, of course, have their own First Amendment interests, but regulations that might affect speech are valid if they have been permissible at the time of the founding. What? The long history in this country and in England of restricting the exclusive rights of common carriers and places of public accommodation have similar regulations today, from triggering heightened scrutiny especially where restriction would not be prohibited the company from would not prohibit the company from speaking of or force the company to endorse the speech. This is a hot steamer.
Yeah, this seems just incredibly wrong.
This is like a fascist takeover of private companies to become state sponsored media. The analogy
So
to.
I believe at this point,
Yeah.
let me look this up. I'm pretty sure at this stage, all this is saying is that the Supreme Court has agreed to review this decision that came from a lower court.
To be sure, much activity on internet derives value from network effects. The dominant digital platforms are different. Unlike decentralized digital spheres such as the email protocol, control of these networks is highly concentrated. Although both companies are public, one person controls Facebook and just two control Google. No small group of people controls email.
That's completely wrong, though, because as groups like Parler have shown, you can make a social media platform that is financially successful that provides an alternative to those larger groups.
Yeah. This analysis. Wait, what the fuck am I reading? It makes no sense.
It doesn't. It genuinely does not.
It's like calling a cow a squirrel just for the purpose of saying that cows eat acorns. It literally makes no sense. You're calling something something it's not just to say that this thing does this now. Once again, doctrine such as public combination that reduces the power of a platform to unliterary remove a government account might strengthen the argument that an account is truly government controlled and creates a public platform. But no party has identified any public combination restriction that applies here. The fuck?
Hopefully, we get some articles written about this because, jeez,
This is
that
dense.
seems
Like,
it is incredibly dense, and these are, first party official documents from the Supreme Court, so it does make sense that they will be. But still,
yeah. I don't fully understand how they think they can just call a private business a common carrier.
so this is not the Supreme Court that has written this decision. This appears to be just an opinion by Thomas as to why they have granted writ of certiorari.
Really?
So it seems that this is just one person's opinion that there is a case, basically, that there is a case that they have standing to hear in front of the Supreme Court.
So essentially, he wants to turn every social media platform into 4chan.
I don't know. That is the thing, is that as far as we know, it could come down 8-1 with him on the other side.
Yeah.
We don't know yet. We don't have other justices' opinion. But in this instance, this seems to be a particularly extreme reading of these laws that is changing, like, it is literally legislating from the bench at that point.
Yeah.
Because in Congress, they've been moving to make these kinds of decisions that basically says social media platforms cannot be, it's the all or none censorship types of arguments. Either you can't censor anything or you have to censor everything, kind of thing. And if it comes to that, I mean, these places aren't going to. I'm sure there's some places that'll continue to operate. Like, I can't imagine Facebook would ever shut down. But Twitter, easily I could see Twitter switching to some sort of incredibly strict verification process before you can post on their platform.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with YouTube. Situations like companies like that that are sort of like tertiarily social media.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't use that phrase on YouTube of all things because I feel like YouTube is straight up just hardcore social media.
Yeah, I guess so. At this point, I suppose that's true.
With the fact that everybody has a voice is just that they pay
Yeah,
their
no, that's true. That's
biggest
true.
voices.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand the concern there. They try to operate like a business, but it's essentially a social media platform that has a business attached. Did you ever hear that thing that some journalists were trying to do where they want to make a Patreon-esque Twitter platform where you had to pay for a subscription to their tweets?
I have not.
I heard something about that. I heard it died out really fast, though, because people really don't like the idea.
I can imagine.
Hmm.
In a bit more serious news, there was a train derailment in Taiwan this past on Friday, I believe it was on the 2nd.
Okay.
Very tragic. Left last count I heard 51 people killed, dozens injured. Um, Trying to look up real quick how this happened. So it seems that the train derailed after striking a truck, which caused it to hit the walls of a tunnel.
Okay.
It's just very tragic.
Yeah. I mean, I have nothing else to say to that. That's
Yeah.
legitimately a worst case scenario.
The investigation into it seems to still be ongoing. There's not tons of definitive answers as to what happened. The last serious train crash in Taiwan that happened in 2018 was found to be caused by a negligence on the part of a driver that was involved, but it seems that the initial impressions of this are something more akin to a freak accident than someone being at fault.
Okay.
Even more tragic.
Yeah, no one could have done anything. Oof.
With that, we're going to talk about the Call of Duty League.
Why?
Because on April 1st, one of the players for the Toronto Ultra, goes by the name of Cammy, he's Scottish, has been ordered by his organization to undergo sensitivity training and offered to make a monetary donation to a local women's shelter for how harsh do you approve of language on the show? Because for me, this is the kind of word that is absolutely a curse, but is not that bad. It's not like it's a slur, you know?
Okay, go on.
So I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah,
Because
we're
this
an
is a
adult
news
show.
article. Cammy said cunt on Twitter.
Okay.
And as a result of that, he is being ordered by his org, who is basically his boss, his managers, to undergo sensitivity training and to make a donation to a local women's shelter.
What the fuck?
And this was released on April 1st, and it's not an April Fool's joke. And it really seems like an April Fool's joke.
That is 1000% April Fool's joke. Stop fucking lying to me.
This is an actual Scot. This is a person from Scotland.
Yeah, that's like their word.
I mean, it's just like part of natural language.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but I, you can't. The way it sounds like they're regulating that word, cunt, is
Yes.
on the same term of the N word, which no, not even close. Which I don't understand. Why would someone choose to regulate a word that not even that bad?
I
Grant,
don't know. Everything that I like, this is the kind of thing where all of the tweets, like, it was such a non thing to start with,
yeah,
and then it just got escalated so rapidly. The original tweets are all deleted, of course.
of course.
Um, so I personally haven't been able to see the original context involved in this, but everything I've been able to find out from people talking about it secondhand, it's not like he was using it in a way that was intended to be derogatory towards any particular group.
Okay. So it
It
was.
was just a word that he used, and it came back around to the org in some way.
I don't. I,
Yeah, it's a bit mind melting.
mind melting's not even the beginning of it. Like, I'm sorry, but if you choose to use just the word itself and you're not like aiming at anybody,
Yep.
how am I supposed to
Yeah.
take offense?
Apparently, you have to become an organization owner, which I get. I get why, from the org's perspective, this player on social media is a representative of that org. You
Yes.
know? At the same time, if you are an org that wants to establish these kinds of standards for your players and how they show themselves on social media, I feel like the onus is on you to give them social media training to the extent that they know that. And
That
that doesn't seem to be what they did in this case.
I agree 100% with what you just said, by the
Like,
way.
esports needs to, in a ton of ways, catch up to, real sport, quote unquote, in that regard, in treating its athletes like the public figures that they are, and giving them the training that they very clearly need to be able to handle themselves in that kind of a space.
Yes.
And they just aren't.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Well, there's also a different culture to esports than there is in regular sports,
Oh, yeah.
which is
Totally.
not a good or bad per se, because I can
Yep.
probably point out there's probably a lot worse stuff going on in regular sports, considering the
Oh, yeah.
checks and balances there are out of this fucking world.
Yeah, the whole thing's just kind of crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. Esports to me is such an interesting beast because it is very much rising up, and it's going to take one good game to put it more in the public eye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm sorry. Just the fact that they have to apologize and then they have to donate money to
Yeah.
an organization, that's what blows my mind. That is not how you're supposed to do that stuff.
Yep. While we're talking Twitter at the moment, I do want to mention how Bernie Sanders has been going on an absolute heater this last week on how little tax companies like Nike have been paying.
Oh no. Get him,
It's
Burn.
been it's been really good.
Go on. I would love to hear this, Burns.
Let me pull this up. Here. That has to pull up. Oh, I spelled it wrong. That is my mistake. Bernie Sanders, one tweet in the last hour. Oh no.
Sick him, Bernie.
Where
He's
did this go?
Bernie's a bloodhound going out for the weak ones.
So 2 hours ago, he tweeted, "The time is long overdue to finally make the wealthy pay their fair share of taxes in this country." Tweeted with a picture showing what the various richest families in the U.S. would pay in taxes if they were paying full taxes.
Are the DeVosses on there?
No, they're not big enough.
Damn.
Walton family, Bezos, Musk, Zuckerberg are the four shown.
Okay, never mind. That they are obviously much bigger.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. This is a good one though. This was the one that I saw. He tweeted out cost to consumers: Nike Air Max 270s, $150; Dish Network Basic Package, $65; FedEx Large Box for delivery, $20; Zoom Pro monthly membership, $15; federal income taxes paid in 2020. Nike 0, Dish 0, FedEx 0, Zoom 0. Yes, we must end our rigged tax code.
You know, Nike, you might want to take a page from your own book with your taxes, pay them, and just do it.
Yep. I mean,
Oh.
what they're doing is legal. You
Yeah.
know, they're not breaking any laws by paying no taxes. It's the fucked up tax code that allows them to get rid of it.
Yeah.
But he's really been going hard on Nike. He tweeted out on the second, if you paid $120 for a pair of Nike Air Force One shoes, you paid more to Nike than it paid in federal income taxes over the past 3 years, while it made $4.1 billion in profits, and Nike's founder, Phil Knight, became over $23 billion richer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Yo, fuck Nike.
Hmm.
We're a little Nas X house right here.
Oh, did you hear that Nike did win that case?
I did hear.
Unsurprisingly,
Yeah.
I mean, it's the kind of thing. It's not surprising. You know, they shouldn't have kept Nike's branding on any of their products because Nike is not affiliated with them in any way. But to do so with something that was so very clearly going to spark controversy, they were kind of asked.
Oh yeah. No. I think they handled that situation so poorly, but oh well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still stand by my boy, Lil Nas X.
Okay, let's talk like TV.
TV.
I have been watching because it turns out that the new episodes for Falcon and the Winter Soldier come out at a time that is beneficial for me that I can watch it on my lunches.
Okay.
So I've been watching it and I'm caught up. Have you watched any of it?
No, honestly. I was kind of waiting until it was all over and then wanting to binge it with my girlfriend if we had nothing else to watch.
That is fair. It is much better than I thought it would be.
Really?
Yes, the trailers did not do it justice. At the same time, it's still up to the quality of like a Marvel film. It's still very made for TV in terms of uh, it feels like a B team is making it,
So, like, people
but it's
who,
still a very good B team.
yeah, people who have obviously worked for Marvel, but this is probably their first time working on a
Yes.
project all alone.
Oh, absolutely. I would actually say, whereas the Marvel films a lot of the time seem to be made by people who are less in tune with the sort of nuts and bolts of Marvel and more with the greater action Hollywood climate, you know,
Hmm.
in that the Marvel movies are made not for the people who read Marvel comics, but for the people who want to go see a summer blockbuster.
I will stand by that 1000%.
This series feels like it has much more pieces made for the Marvel comic fans in
Go
terms of
on.
the characters and the concepts that they're exploring, as well as how they are portraying those characters.
Okay, can you give me some examples?
So I don't think this is a spoiler. I'm going to pull up the trailer for it real quick and sort of skim through it. Because I'm pretty sure this character is very clearly shown in one of the trailers. Let me skim through here real quick though, because these trailers are terrible.
Yeah.
Yes, so they very clearly allude to this character being in the show, and they actually just show him at one point. But Zemo is in it.
Oh yeah, no, he was
Yeah,
heavily in the promotional stuff.
right. So Zemo's character is amazing because it is not Zemo, it is Baron Zemo. And he is like full on, I am basically rich as hell and I'm going to do whatever I want mode. And it is great. His acting,
Yeah.
so far at least, is so far ahead of everyone else's. And I don't know why exactly that is, because it's not like the other actors are not talented. They are. It feels like the writing isn't quite up to par with the usual Marvel stuff. I think he's just working with that better than some of the others.
Okay.
A lot of it feels very, oh, we have an idea for a scene, and then rather than writing a story that can make use of that idea, they just write that idea. If that makes sense.
So there's little cohesion as much as they just insert what they need to put in there.
To a point, yes. So in the second episode, one of the major points of it is that they go, I'm not gonna spoil it, but they go and visit a person that causes a sort of argument to happen between Bucky and Sam.
Okay.
And as they're having this, not even really an argument, just more of a discussion in a public place, there's a very good scene. It's a good scene, but it just kind of comes out of nowhere of some police officers coming up and basically like starting to arrest Sam because of this public disturbance that is happening. And there's some very blunt lines about the police officers asking Bucky basically, is he disturbing you kind of things.
Holy
It's
shit.
very on the nose and it's good, but it kind of comes out of nowhere. It feels like they had this idea for a scene, and rather than working it in, they just kind of put it there.
Yo, fuck those racist pigs.
But it is a good scene.
Yeah,
It
no.
is
That make it,
in itself. It is good. It's just kind of sudden in how it happened.
yeah, no, it got an emotional rise out of me, which I will say is enough to
Yeah.
warrant it as being good.
And the really good part about it is it ends with the cops arresting Bucky because he's basically missed his probation, one of his court mandated therapy sessions. So they have to arrest Bucky at the end of it, which is a good sort of like twist on it.
Yes. I like that. That's kind of a cute idea.
But it hits the it's well thought out. It just doesn't quite pace itself right.
Okay.
I'll also say one of the locations they go to in episode 3 is Madripoor, which I have the feeling is the kind of thing that is probably bigger in the comics.
Majapur?
Or I don't know. The way they talk about it is like the kind of thing that like, oh, if you know kind of thing. That's how they talk about it. So it gives the appearance of there being like more to it than they have said so far, like the kind of thing that certain people should already know about. I don't know.
Madripoor? Like Madripoor?
Yes.
Okay, I'm the Marvel nerd, and this is straight up shit.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. That's kind of how they sort of introduce it as like this criminal city that the baddest of the bad people go here and hang out and party, and it's sort of lawless, but it's not lawless. And they talk about a character called the Power Broker.
Oh, no wonder I don't know much about it. It seems like it's mainly X-Men stuff.
It does. Apparently, I was skimming through a Rotten Tomatoes article here, and they're talking about the faint aroma of mutants. So it does seem like they're getting into that. And that is kind of one of the overarching themes of this series, is that they believe that someone has been able to recreate the super soldier serum.
Okay.
And they're trying to figure out who it is.
When they start saying the word Latveria in the MCU, I will start flipping my shit. Do you know what Latveria is?
No.
I will let you find out on your own, but the moment I hear the word Latveria, I'm throwing my shit.
I've just Googled it.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I get you. I can appreciate that.
Okay. Well, all you normies can wait for Latveria.
All you normies better watch out. It is so far a very entertaining series.
Yeah?
But yeah.
I heard the whole point of Falcon in that show is that he wants to buy a boat.
No, they already have the boat. They're trying to make sure that the bank doesn't take it.
Oh.
I will say that this is doing a much better job of addressing the post-blip events than WandaVision very briefly started to.
Really?
Yes. it's portraying them in a way that is very realistic and very believable in terms of the sort of like secondary fallout of having billions of people just come back.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much away because it is still very early, but
Isn't it like halfway through though?
it's on episode 3 of, I think they're doing like 8. I think it's supposed to be similar-ish in length to WandaVision.
Okay.
Let me look it up real quick. Oh, it might only have 6. I'm actually not sure.
Popular pages on the Marvel Wikia. Mandrapore.
Yeah. I don't doubt it.
Yeah. I mean, I will eventually get around to it eventually. Loki dropped a new trailer today, by the way.
Oh, did it? I have not seen this. I very much want to, though.
Go ahead. Since I'm recording the show, I can't really do it.
Loki trailer 3 hours ago. Marvel's Loki.
Marvel's Loki. This ain't your daddy's Loki.
I think this series looks very promising, though.
Oh, yeah.
The writing seems just so much tighter than either WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, I feel bad for like most of the Marvel writers because they can't really push the envelope with the shows, I imagine. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't imagine people want to like, ooh, Dutch ankle. I'm watching the trailer. I figured a way out.
Yeah.
Man, you can tell this is in the Thor universe. So Owen Wilson in the MCU, everybody. How does that make you feel? I want a
Oh,
what?
I get it.
What?
Just keep watching.
Okay.
I get the concepts that they're playing at. That makes more
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to
I like it.
He's fixing all the time problems.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting premise. What
Uh-huh.
do you think he's going to run into you know who?
I don't know.
Like he might run into Steve Rogers, maybe. Yeah. I like how they're not referring to him as Loki, but the Loki variant.
Yeah.
It is an interesting idea. So I guess everything off this is strictly non-canon to the main MCU then.
Oh, that was very blunt.
What?
I like it though. I like it as a concept more than
Whoa,
the other
whoa.
Marvel shows.
Did I just see that right?
Was it about 2 minutes in?
Let me see. Yep,
I'm pretty sure I saw the same thing.
206.
206? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
They're not fucking around.
That is some very distinguishable hair right there.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Like, I'm on board for this.
I am very curious how much they're going to fuck with this.
I don't know. So I highly encourage listeners at home to just go watch the trailer. But the core concept that they're playing at is that this is the Loki from Endgame that grabbed the Tesseract and slipped out of his timeline.
Yes.
which has basically just kind of fucked everything up.
Well, he was kind of important.
Yes. Oh yeah.
So, does that mean
So
he has to fix everything that the Tesseract was supposed to be in and all the things that he himself was supposed to be in?
I guess we'll have to find out.
Because I guess we'll get a retelling of Ragnarok.
I don't know.
Mm.
Without any of the Infinity Stones existing anymore, I guess there's a question of whether it can be fixed. Or if things are just kind of broken from here on out.
Maybe. I don't know. But they really are setting him up to be DB Cooper.
Yes. They're being very blunt about it, and I like it.
There's a scene in this trailer, ladies and gentlemen, where he's literally DB Cooper.
Yeah, he is just DB.
DB Cooper. Low key Cooper. I don't know. What's the show that's coming up after this? Because after Loki, I think it's Falcon. Chiral?
I'm still here, yes.
Okay, you were very quiet. I felt alone. Um.
Fucking Another Soldier, Loki.
Oh, Ms. Marvel's next. After What If?
Yep.
Loki's already got a season 2 planned.
They're apparently doing a Hawkeye premiering in 2022.
Okay.
Moon Knight.
I am hyped for Moon Knight.
I have no idea what that is.
Moon Knight?
Yeah.
Moon Knight is like the king of B tier Marvel characters. Yes, it's like a character that they like so much, but they refuse to write out. Like, no, okay, so they don't have to like really adhere much to character continuity with Moon Knight. So literally, any writer in the comics who's ever gotten his hands on Moon Knight has free roam to do whatever shit they want to do with him.
Apparently, Oscar Isaac has been cast for it.
Yes,
I can approve of that. Be nice to see him something outside of Star Wars.
he is a very cool character. I am excited for Moon Knight to show up.
I'm just skimming through an article here. We also apparently have rumors for She-Hulk.
Okay.
Do we have any confirmed? What do we know?
About She-Hulk? I don't know much about She-Hulk, to be honest. The show. Chiral? It's very quiet. I guess I will just talk some Moon Knight with y'all. Moon Knight is
Bruh.
bruh.
Bruh, I didn't go anywhere. What's going on?
You were just very quiet. Like there's straight up just dead silence.
Change anything. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know what's happening either, but it scares me. I don't like being alone. Especially if you've seen the thumbnail for this video.
I'll just change off of automatic sensitivity and hopefully that fixes it.
Hopefully.
Cool. But She-Hulk is apparently being written by Jessica Gao.
Who dat?
She wrote the Pickle Rick episode of Rick and Morty and won an Emmy for it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I liked Pickle Rick at first, but the memes ruined it.
Yeah. As an episode, it's well written.
Yes. Especially.
Yep.
Yes.
Apparently, Tatiana Maslany has been selected as the lead for it. Canadian actress. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Apparently in the series Orphan Black and Perry Mason, which are things I've heard of but not seen.
Is Perry Mason just like one of those things that keeps on going like Sherlock Holmes reboots? Because I feel like that's been around forever.
I don't know. Apparently, this version has been since 2020,
Okay.
so it is newer. After that, we have Secret Invasion.
Which, interesting. That's a really interesting storyline in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one of my things with that is that's around the time I started reading comics. So we are getting very close to recent stuff.
Yep, yep.
Um, I say I welcome some of the more recent stuff, but it's going to
Mm-hmm.
be really weird, really fast.
There's a surprising number of things that we've heard about so far. I didn't expect it to be this many.
You got to think about board investor meetings and whatnot.
Oh yeah, no, that it seems to be that's what all these were. Investor meeting in December of this last year,
Yeah.
2020. Yep. After that, we have Ironheart.
Yeah, that's going to be a
Yep.
problem for a lot of people who can't get
Will it
over
be?
it.
Why is that?
Ironheart was a very controversial character when she first premiered.
Just because it's black female Iron Man?
Well, she's also was a bit of a Okay, it depends who you ask, but some people consider
Okay.
her to be a Mary Sue. That was just made for forced diversity, even though I don't think she's that bad. I think she's
I
a
mean,
fun
even
addition.
okay. I think that's normally that's a bullshit argument,
Yeah.
but even if that's the case, this is a completely different series, so it wouldn't carry over. This
I,
is
I agree.
yeah.
To preface this for everybody, when Ironheart was introduced in the comics, it was after Civil War II, an event that everybody kind of hated. The whole point of the event was Iron Man and Captain Marvel are in a fight about basically Minority Report. They find a character who can see
Oh
into
yeah,
the
yeah.
future, and Captain Marvel wants to do all this pre-crime stuff.
Yep.
Whereas Tony's like, we can't trust these visions because I can't scientifically break them down into anything that makes sense.
Yep.
So they get into a fight. A lot of boo-boos were made. Biggest boo-boo went to Iron Man, who went into a coma and basically was written out of the Marvel Universe for a while.
That's unfortunate.
During this coma, they introduced Riri Williams, who is Ironheart, who
Yep.
is not that bad, everybody. Please calm down from hating me. She's essentially a genius who was inspired by Tony to make her own Iron Man suit, and she kind of reverse engineers it to make her own suit. And she pretty much takes his place because she's inspired by him.
Yeah, that seems perfectly realistic.
Yeah. It's not that bad. But a lot of people don't like Riri Williams because they think that she was pretty much just written to replace him.
I mean, she probably was, but that's not a problem.
I
Like,
yeah.
I get the idea, but to an outsider, that just sounds like you don't like a black female Iron Man.
You know what? There might be just a lot of those kind of people who don't like a black
I
female.
think there is.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The time that Riri Williams came out was a very dark age for comic book fans. And
Yeah.
she is often blamed with a lot of problems that came from a lot of people who are just got problems themselves.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
After that, we have Armor Wars, which will have Don Cheadle as War Machine.
Considering that this is directly after Ironheart,
Yep.
I'm really wondering if she's going to be in this, considering the plot synopsis.
I feel like if it is set to follow that timeline, I feel like it would kind of have to,
Yeah.
which would be kind of cool.
James
Some fun
Rhodes.
dynamics there.
Yeah. Because I kind of like the idea of Rhodey being a mentor to a young Ironheart. That's a really cute idea to me.
Yep.
I don't think they met in the comics.
The last piece that we have confirmed is a series of shorts called "I Am Groot."
I am
executive
Groot.
produced by James Gunn.
Beautiful. I'd watch that, honestly.
Sounds fine. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, as a TV show, that sounds terrible." But no, it's just a series of shorts.
Yeah. Probably be 1/2 an hour special if you break it down into that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm super excited for most of these shows. I am just worried that certain characters getting adapted, like Ms. Marvel, will also cause all these soy boys who are not actual soy boys, but guys who were problematic during their those dark ages of comics to come back again
Mm-hmm.
to rip on Marvel.
Yep.
Um, Guys, maybe sometimes stuff is just not made for you. Ever thought of that?
Yeah, like everything can't be made for every person. It's just not how it works.
Well, just like I'm talking about the Comicsgate era of like comics, where a lot of
Mm-hmm.
new characters who weren't the typical like straight white guy superhero were introduced, and a lot of people didn't like it, which those people
Mm-hmm.
kind of have to get over. Um, because maybe people just want to try new things.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm not getting into diversity politics. I'm just saying that if you're reading a book that seems like it's written for a teenage girl, maybe it's a book written for a teenage girl and not you.
You don't say.
Yeah, that's like all my problems with it is people like would literally go to the store and they would buy a book that like a comic book that's literally it looked like it was being marketed towards a teenage girl, right? And they would read it and they would just point out all these flaws for like easy internet points and they'd be like, "Man, everything sure sucks, right?" And I'm like, "Maybe, but if you're a teenage girl, you probably like that." It was dumb. Worst time to be a comic book fan. It made me get out of comic books for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what else is there?
Outside of Marvel, we had Godzilla vs. Kong release mostly in some theaters, but mostly via streaming.
I mean, that's ballin'.
Yep.
Uh,
So it's doing fairly well right now, as well as I would expect any of the Godzilla current series films to do.
I mean, the Godzilla cinematic universe has a lot of promise.
Yep. I
At least they're not
I will
rushing it.
probably watch this at some point soon,
Yeah.
but it's the kind of thing that I don't see. Given what we already know about Godzilla, I don't know how Kong just doesn't immediately die.
Yeah.
It just doesn't add up to me.
I haven't seen the movie myself, but one of the things I've heard interestingly about it is the scale of the monsters seems to shift a lot.
Yeah.
So like there's a scene where King Kong is like on airplanes, like riding them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like something about him being up in the air on these big like things and they're lifting him pretty easily. But then if he falls to the ground, he makes a big dent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which seems like something you wouldn't have to worry about in a movie like that, but you'd be surprised.
Well, I will. I think I'm pretty sure I've seen all of the Godzilla movies up to this one,
Did you see
and
Kong?
they're all. I did Skull Island. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This one is set pretty clearly a long time after that, though. So there is some leeway in that regard to change how Kong was,
Okay.
because Kong was pretty moderately sized in Skull Island, at least compared to how he is now.
One of my favorite memes I've seen from this is the Godzilla versus Kong fight, and then Cheems comes with a bat to bonk them.
I love one that. Let me see if I can find it here. It's Godzilla Kong, of course, and it has Godzilla pinning Kong, and it's the Martha line from BVS.
No. I love it.
Why did you say that name?
One of my favorite ones I've seen is Hulk from Ragnarok, like chasing
Yeah.
after them, like going to a movie theater, and then Thor's like, "Hulk, no, no, go watch a movie. You'll get COVID." And then it's straight up the line from that movie, like, "But big monster."
Yeah, I found it. Save Martha. Why did you say that name?
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh. That's a really good CG though.
No, it absolutely is. And one of the things that I am interested in seeing this for is that the way that they use the lighting, at least in the trailers, looks really interesting and surprisingly colorful.
Those two look like they about to make out real nasty.
Did you know you could have not said that?
Yes, I know I could have not said that, but I think the world's a better place that implied those two making out. Ugh. I. What have you heard about the Godzilla versus Kong?
Literally nothing.
Okay, because I
I've
had.
heard that there is some sort of larger third party
Yes, there is.
that is involved in the events that are happening, like in an instigating kind of role.
Yes.
Outside of that, I don't really know much.
There is a third party, and I've had it spoiled for me, and I'm super excited. I want to see it really bad just for
Oh,
that
okay.
third party.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
I guess. That's
You
good
have
to know.
HBO Plus, right? HBO Max, right?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I get HBO through my cable subscription, so I get HBO Max.
I was very curious about that because I have a challenge for you.
Okay.
Mr. I am a big fan of turtles. On HBO Max, they have the original 1990 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And I'm very curious how you would react to that.
I would really rather not.
Fair enough. You don't have to do it then.
I have seen pictures. I know what it is.
You act like
And
it's some kind of cursed movie.
is it not?
No, it's actually kind of good.
Like, you can't see this and tell me it's not cursed. That is cursed as fuck.
Is what I think it is. That's not the animatronics in the movie.
I know.
That's one of
But
the older ones, but I totally get you.
it looks deeply cursed still.
I thought you were referencing I have to find it now. The mouth shot.
Like every still that I've ever seen of this looks like an episode of Robot Chicken.
Have you ever seen this shot of the film?
Yes, I have.
It's the cursed shot of one of them like opening
It's
their mouths and you can see the guy puppeting it inside.
yeah, you can see his mouth doing the same thing.
It's so cursed.
It's very cursed. I mean, it's probably not. I don't know. Rotten Tomatoes has it at 40%.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm gonna read some of these reviews. What do we have here? What do critics say? The fights and stunts in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are genuinely exciting, made all the more remarkable by the fact that they're mostly being done in guys and 50 pounds of foam rubber.
Yeah.
This movie will not enrich your child's worldview.
I love the wording of that.
Unapologetically hokey humor and dialogue and characters that have their charm for sheer ladies' kitsch value. All these are too recent of reviews, though. Is this just like... Oh, no, there's some old ones. A dismal, tedious affair.
Oh, ouch.
I love some of these.
I'm just looking at like messed up versions of the animatronic props.
Yeah. There is no excuse.
Wow.
0 out of 5.
I liked this movie as a kid. I don't know
Oh, yeah.
why they had a problem.
So I'm the same way with the movie Hoodwinked.
Oh, Hoodwink was good though. Why
It is, but it was critically panned to death because of how bad the CGI is.
But it was like a cool setup.
Oh no, it is really well written,
Yeah.
but it is objectively visually disgusting.
Is it? Okay, I have to see it. I remember
Yes.
that damn
It
squirrel.
is. You can watch it for free on YouTube.
You can. That's
Someone
not a good
uploaded
sign.
it like 2 years ago, and I guess it just slipped through YouTube.
Okay, those are. I don't remember it
It
looking this
has not
bad.
aged well.
Why is it looking this bad?
Like, have you seen Shrek? Like, original Shrek looks like ass today.
I
Just
remember the
because
sunflower field scene. That did not age well at all.
they did a really good job of keeping the, like, promotional stuff in what is mostly the stuff that we see today. So you get these, like, high res polished things. But if you, like, watch the actual movies, the textures are disgusting. Primarily.
Really?
Yeah. No, like
Oh.
Shrek looks just gross. And it works for what the movie is, but like to a modern eye, it doesn't look gross because it's gross. It looks gross because it looks like it was animated in 2004 because it was.
You're right, this does look pretty bad.
Yeah. And it's what are you talking about? It's beautiful.
I just showed him a still of Shrek the Musical.
Yeah. Everything about that is cursed.
I've seen it.
Have you?
I have seen Shrek the Musical. My girlfriend and I watched it one night on a dare.
Is it that bad?
Oh my god, it's terrible. It's the worst musical I've ever seen in my life. Which between the two musicals I've seen in my life, Hamilton and this, that says nothing.
Why would they do this?
What? Yeah, that's it. That's literally it.
It's terrible. It's so bad.
There's like, okay, I'm going to do a small review of Shrek the Musical for everybody that's daring to watch it. I recommend it as like
Please.
as a so bad it's good. The film begins with a number about Shrek growing up.
Yeah.
So you get to see Mama and Papa Shrek.
Why?
Why?
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that?
Yes. That
Because
sounds awful.
you got to see the Orgurgins.
I'm assure you I don't.
The Orgurgins of Shrek. Essentially, they start off with this song about how Shrek feels like an outsider and how he's an ogre. I honestly think they got like some kind of mix up between the original Chris Farley script and the Mike Myers script, because this movie is like a weird combination of both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to look up the songs for it because there's like one of them that's really bad. But it's like for the most part a retelling of Shrek, the first movie, 1-to-1. Yeah, okay. The first song's called Overture, Big Bright Beautiful World, by Mama Ogre, Papa Ogre, and Shrek. As it stands, the whole movie is basically the same except for the fairy tale creatures, who had no role in the original one. They all come together. Oh my god, that's so bad.
Isn't it?
Hoodwink did not age well, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just finding this out now.
It's. Have you seen the cover poster for the second movie?
No, I have not.
It is somehow even worse.
Oh boy, there
I
should
don't
be.
know how they managed to fuck that up.
There's no shadows on that whatsoever.
There's not. So we'll finish your Shrek the Musical review here first.
Yeah. How many songs do you think the main character Shrek sings in his own musical?
I would hope most of them.
I'm counting 8. No, 9.
8. How many are there?
There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22,
Jesus.
24.
Okay, so he doesn't sing enough of them then.
26 songs. And there's no All-Star, by the way.
Really, I get that. I can see how that would be hard to license, but
You know
that
what
is
they
a
did get?
what?
I'm a Believer by the Monkees.
Really?
Yes. They chose to
Huh.
license that over All Star.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, that is a choice to be sure.
There's a song called The Ballad of Farquaad.
Can there not?
Yeah, there is.
But can we just like retcon that so it doesn't exist?
You can't. There's recordings of it.
No.
There's a song called Donkey Pot Pie.
That sounds pretty bad.
Yeah. Um, I'm just going over like the names of songs because they're kind of bad. I remember particularly the song "I Know It's Today," which is like the opening song to get to know Fiona in the musical. That, in particular, is a very bad song.
Mm.
I think they tried rhyming "knowing" with "bowling," which doesn't work.
Nope.
Overall, it is a mess of a musical trying so hard to be Shrek that they have a identity crisis, and they try to give all the fairy tale creatures like a secondary role as like we're going to help Shrek get in and save Fiona and whatnot. And they give him a song about being freaks and why everybody should accept that, and they're the ones that teach Shrek that he's okay the way he is.
Mm-hmm.
That is Shrek the Musical. Go look up the soundtrack, ladies and gentlemen. It's like Hamilton, but green.
I don't know why, but I find that hard to believe.
The I was going to try rapping Alexander Hamilton, but with Shrek lyrics, but I can't think of any. What you looking at there, sailor?
I am reading reviews for Zack Snyder's Justice League
Why are you back on that?
because they're funny.
Okay.
I particularly like some of the critical reviews that are up now. There's some good new ones.
Like what?
It's boring, coherently boring.
Ooh.
Oh, where's the other good one? Oh, where did it go? It just. As with any project where the director has no checks or balances, there are problems.
Okay.
And then it's a better bad film.
It's a better bad film.
Yeah. Somehow the like fakest review I've ever seen in the audience reviews is still the top one, and I don't get it. The visually stunning and thrillingly dark. That bullshit one.
Because Snydercut fans will literally up anything that makes them feel better about their decisions in life. Like,
Oh my god, why is this so fucking long? Use paragraphs. What the hell?
do you.
I'm gonna have to screen snip this because this is stupid.
Okay. Do you, if you could make a movie studio do anything you want, right? Oh, what the?
Yeah.
I can't read that. I can't read that at all.
You can't. I don't want to read that. You gave the Snyder Cut a 4.5 out of 5. I know you're full of shit.
That's your most iconic quote ever.
I love this. What an absolute waste of time. Snyder's disappeared so far up his own ass he can just about see his own tonsils. Such a lousy filmmaker.
Wow, that's really mean.
Yeah, I love it though.
People have
4
feelings.
pointless hours could have been half as long without losing anything. Snyder managed to make even the action boring. The character work was okay at best and usually far, far worse. That's a bit much, but
Y'all are just mean. People have feelings, man.
some of these are just so long.
Like, how long?
like there are multiple reviews that are that long
Schneider
with no
fans
punctuation and breaks or anything.
Schneider fans learned how to be literate just so they could write a review.
Okay, I'm gonna read this because this is just like copy pasta worthy.
Okay.
I watched it a few times before writing this review. That being said, after my first viewing of the film, I had one thought. Joss Whedon really screwed up this movie, referring to the 2017 version. This is the true version of the film that you must watch. If you haven't seen Justice League at all, you can certainly skip the 2017 Whedon cut. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is my first Rotten Tomatoes review, but I'm no stranger to reviewing movies. Say what you may about the movement behind this film or the movement that follows it, this is Zack Snyder's true vision of Justice League. It's an emotional roller coaster ride of story, intrigue, and intense action sequences that will have you on the edge of your seat. There's even a part where it had me tearing up a bit. You won't get any of that in the 2017 movie at all. This right here, the once infamous, now world famous hashtag Snydercut, is where you want to be if you have 4 hours to spare. I highly recommend you watch this film. There's also a black and white version of the film called Justice is Gray. Now for some slight spoilers, the main villain, Steppenwolf, is much more engaging, and we get to spend more time with him this time around with his true design from the Ultimate Edition of Batman v Superman. All of Victor Stone's cyborg scenes are restored, giving you a more emotional and heartfelt story as the director describes Cyborg is the heart of the film. Actor Ray Fisher gives an astounding performance. His acting alone in this movie makes it worth watching. More backstory for Barry Allen as Flash has been added back, and we learn about his powers, abilities, and how he continually contributes to the story and saves the world in the process. All in all, this is truly a super fun movie, worthy of your time, so please enjoy as Zack Snyder delivers the true Justice League.
What the
What the
fuck?
fuck? How can someone be that dense?
I'm surprised you weren't choking on sucking off Schneider there just by saying those words.
Oh man, it was challenging, I'll be honest, but thankfully I'm a professional.
Fuck. Wow.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I don't understand why someone would. What are they getting out of this?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Because it's not like I would assume HBO isn't paying people to review films, but I don't know.
If they were going to pay people to review films, they would have reviewed Positive, the Josh Whedon cut, just to not have to go through all this.
I think it's legitimately just the hashtag Snydercut people that have entwined their own personal identity so much with this shitty director's cut that they can't do anything other than suck off Snyder this hard because it is in their own subconscious literally them sucking themselves off.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the only answer, is that this is now these people's personalities.
Yeah.
And because of that, they can't do anything other than write this kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, imagine giving so much of a shit about something as mediocre as the Snyder Cut that you go to the effort to make a Rotten Tomatoes account, write that, and then post it.
I mean,
that is the level we're at with these kinds of people.
I feel like there's just people that want to be DC fans to be contrarian to Marvel fans.
I don't know. This kind of like just seeing this kind of writing, because I didn't change any of the punctuation in that.
You didn't?
All of those run-ons, all of those, that is exactly how it is written.
Okay.
I genuinely think that these are just the kinds of people that are so lacking in self-awareness that they don't realize they don't realize how much they have projected these kinds of movies onto their own identities.
Yes.
So they can't help but to, in effect, talk about themselves in this way.
You know what? I gotta check something.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's real.
What's that?
There's an r/Snyderverse.
Well, now I have to look this up.
Yeah, I thought to myself, if there's a Reddit on this, there might... Yeah, there's a Reddit. List of potential Snyderverse. r/Snyderverse.
Snyderverse.
Yes. Because people want, like, the Snyderverse to come
246 members.
This is... What the fuck? Exploring this is weird. I mean, it seems like a typical Reddit.
Yeah. It is incredibly bad looking, though.
You can't see it under all that gray. Oh, there's an r/Snydercut as well.
Oh, no.
Okay.
This is the fan art that our Snyderverse deserves.
I don't think that's that bad.
It's not, but it's very mediocre.
Dude, come on. That might be someone's first drawing. Don't be too mean.
It literally is, but given the source material, I mean...
Okay.
Come on.
r/the Snydercut,
Yes.
8.2k members.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
They're growing.
They're growing.
What's next for Snyder? What do you mean, what's next? You got your thing.
Yeah. How are you going to bully people now?
Years of hard work from director Zack Snyder. Bullshit. He voluntarily stepped down from the project for a good reason.
Oh my god, there's a post. Fuck Warner Brothers. That company is being run by a bunch of incompetent, out-of-touch scumbag suits that don't give a fuck about the fans and to all the cucks who are trying to cry and say this post is toxic. There's nothing toxic about acknowledging the reality of the situation. It is what it is. All in caps.
What is the top all-time?
Oh, it's a post about...
Oh, no. So they are, like... actually... like, basically reverse review bombing it.
Yes.
That's hilarious.
This is so weird. It's like tearing apart an anthill and then discovering how it works on the inside.
Yeah.
What the heck? These are like the equivalent of seeing boomer memes, like saying cell phones bad, but instead of saying cell phones bad, Snydercut good.
Yep.
Do you think anything actually deserved this much attention like these guys are giving it? Like, this is a religion at this point.
No, exactly. That's kind of my point, is that these people are so caught up in their bullshit that they don't even realize it's bullshit anymore.
Yeah. We are the warriors Bruce is talking about in the movie. Restore the Snyderverse.
Oh. So Disney Plus has announced the cast for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah.
By the way, they have a calendar of scheduled times they want to like tweet out and get things trending on Twitter. As per their like big restore the Snyderverse.
I don't doubt it. It's because it fucking worked once, right?
This is a fucking cult. I'm scared. At this point, these people could probably influence an election.
Mm-hmm. Very interesting. I'm very interested to see that they got Hayden Christensen back.
Yeah, Hayden Christensen as Darth Vader for the Obi-Wan series.
Yeah. Or I actually don't know which direction it's going. Either Vader or Anakin, however they take it.
Yeah,
But yeah, having McGregor and Christensen back together be very cool. I approve.
I think they have really good chemistry, and
Mm-hmm.
they just work
Oh yeah,
really well
I
off each
totally
other.
agree. Yeah,
I'm just happy to.
expected sometime 2022. Makes sense.
Oh no! Oh honey, no! What is? Oh no!
What you got?
I just found a really long review. It's called Appreciation: Why Zack Snyder's Justice League is a Masterpiece of Cinema.
It's not.
It's so not.
I think this is a meme at this point. I don't know if I can take these people seriously. Opening paragraph. While I'll need to rewatch the film more times to make a definitive determination, I really enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League. As you can tell, I love Snyder's previous DC films, hyperlinked to another review, and its reception feels like validation of his vision and what the fans have been rallying for years. I still can't believe it really exists. I finished watching the film over the course of 3 days and needed some time to process it and decompress from the experience. It took him fucking 3 days to watch this. I don't get it.
I don't either. The last piece I have here is that we had the SAG Awards happen.
What's that?
Screen Actors Guild.
Oh, okay.
They were pre-recorded, the award ceremony, but few notable awards to Chadwick Boseman for Ma Rainey's Black Bottom for outstanding performance by a male actor in a leading role in a motion picture, outstanding performance by a female actor in a leading role in a motion picture went to Viola Davis, same film. Where did it go? Outstanding performance by a cast in a motion picture, Trial of Chicago 7. Interestingly, outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a motion picture went to Wonder Woman 1984, which I have to assume is only because of lack of competition. Because it's a bad movie.
Yes.
Outstanding action performance by a stunt ensemble in a comedy or drama series went to The Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Nice to see Chadwick Boseman being recognized posthumously.
Yeah. Shame it had to be posthumously.
Yep.
There's someone on this Reddit making a PR statement about how the Snyderverse fandoms become more aggressive and negative, and how it's making everybody see them as like more unruly and damaging their image.
Mm-hmm.
The first comment says "fuck off."
I
Yes.
actually wasn't planning to talk about this because I was waiting for the trial to finish before we did, but the George Floyd trial is ongoing currently.
Yes.
And there has been plenty of interesting testimony from both sides. I believe it is, been going on for a few days now, but this is going to be a long trial. Of note, this just broke. The Minneapolis police chief has testified that Chauvin violated their policy with his use of force.
Oh.
Not part of our ethics or values and was not in line with training.
Oof.
So that is pretty damning.
Yeah. Water is wet. Am I right?
Yep. So hoping we'll have more definitive news on that come next week. But like I said, it is still very much ongoing.
Now, who's under full trial here?
I believe this is just the trial for Chauvin regarding third-degree murder.
Okay. Because I didn't know if it was fully all the other officers that were complacent in the murder, but...
I don't believe so. I'm pretty sure this is just the one, since the others are lesser charges.
Okay. Still, that's... It's been about a year now, and I'm still not fully sure
Yeah.
about how I feel about George Floyd's murder.
Yep.
I mean, it's a murder.
Yep.
And the fact that
Pretty clear cut.
it's taken a year to get everything the way it is really fucked up.
It is. It is a symptom of the criminal justice system, unfortunately. There is so much volume that the criminal justice system has to deal with, and the way that the processes are constructed, that there's a reason why so many people take plea deals
Yeah.
for reduced sentences. Because if the plea deal went away, there would be no way to clear the backlog that would build.
Yeah.
It would just take too long.
Oh. I don't know. The American justice system is something that's on my mind a lot, and I hate it.
Yeah. Totally understandable.
Yeah. Everybody go outside and hug a cop and tell him to stop. Hug your neighbor.
I saw a really good one. It was an insult on Twitter. It was something like, you need to go outside and touch some grass. It's a good one. I like that.
What the Can you explain that to me a little bit?
People who are inside so much that they're just completely desensitized from even the simplest things as like the grass on the ground outside there wherever they live.
Yo, can I tell you like my big fear right now that we're about to leave quarantine?
Sure.
I am terrified about the people who have developed mental illnesses from being in quarantine for so long, and what that, like, we already had a lot of shooting problems already in America. I am absolutely terrified at what's going to come out of these houses when we are all out in public again. I think,
Yeah, it's... Well, we're already starting to see an uptick back of mass shootings.
yeah, I know, it's crazy.
You know, it's everything... Nature is healing.
Shut the fuck up. That's too dark for me, bro.
No, but I mean, it's really, I don't want to use the word interesting because that's a bit detached,
And
but
macabre.
it is.
Yeah.
It is really interesting to see how, even though we were in a quarantine during a pandemic, violent crime went up. It was just different violent crime.
Yes.
And, you know, we don't have any indication that that's gonna, like, change. Right?
No, we don't.
It's likely that it won't.
At this point, it's become such a massively fucking, like, it's a cycle, man.
Yeah. Yep.
Violent crime happens. People get mental health issues from seeing this shit on TV and just being around it, not feeling safe, and then they act out. They lash out.
Yep.
I'm terrified, to be honest, that we're all leaving quarantine.
Yeah, it will be very different.
Yeah.
Although I am very hopeful that we will be ready for it. It seems like with the way that vaccines are being deployed in the numbers that they are, that we will be ahead of it. So,
hopefully.
yeah.
I'm really hoping that a lot of future problems are avoided. Shooting people is not cool.
Yes.
You got anything else?
That's all I got.
Yeah. I need Miss Orion and go talk to a therapist if you feel any kind of emotion that you can't fully control. And
I'm Kyril, and I'm also a Schmo.
I was about to get there. I'm the Miss Orion, and I have been a Schmo.
I'm Kyle, and I'm also a Schmo.
Sound like you said Kyle there. Whatever.
I am not Kyle. I am Kyril.
Kyril. You
I
drink
just
kickstarts.
am-
You don't drink
I'm,
them out.
I'm from Michigan, so I roll my L's at the end.
We do. It's an unfortunate side effect.
Fortunately.
Keep your nose clean, everybody.